Good evening. My name is Reverend Chef Jason Taylor, and I'd like to take this time to tell you a little bit about my organization, Other Side Ministries. We are a love-based ministry providing hope for our community through meals, resources, connection, and education. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about my story and what inspired me to create Other Side Ministries. In my early 20s, coming from a abusive home life and being a chef battling addiction, I would resort hop, moving from town to town every few weeks or months and finding work in local restaurants. I once arrived in Florida and couldn't find work. I wound up with no money and nowhere to go, homeless, sleeping on the beach, which sounds fun, but it really is not. Got to the point that I was considering becoming the criminal that everybody treated me as. I would get to a street corner to cross the street and people would lock their doors. Nobody wants to make eye contact with you when you're homeless. You're a uncomfortable truth that most don't want to deal with. So at that point of no other way out of the situation, I decided I would do whatever I needed to do to make it through. But in a last-ditch effort, I wandered into a church and I sat through the service. And afterwards, a gentleman made eye contact with me, left the church, but came back into the sanctuary a few minutes later to come over to me where I was sitting. He asked me what I needed. I told him my story and where I was. Even though this man didn't know me, he took me home with him. He fed me lunch and took me out and helped me find a hostel. Bought some food, paid for a few weeks, and said, "Are you going to be okay?" I said, "Yeah, I got it from here." I've never seen this man again. He could be standing in front of me now, and I wouldn't even know it was him. I don't remember his face, but I'll never forget what he did for me. He changed the trajectory of my life. Within that 3-week span, I was able to find work, and on that 21st day, I got my first paycheck. I never looked back. I turned my entire life around. I went on to go to culinary school, earn a degree, and become a chef in very high volume restaurants and working in higher education. After completing culinary school and experiencing success in my field, I was blessed with the most beautiful and amazing little girl. When my daughter was born, it again changed the trajectory of my life. I realized what I was truly missing. I was successful, but I had no love. So she inspired me again and awakened me to my spiritual journey. In that process, I came to be ordained. I started to heal the pain of my past. I started to begin to get back in touch with myself and realizing who I was and what I was here to do. I found purpose. Once I was ordained, I was working at a church and someone had the idea for us to go serve the homeless one Sunday. I said, "Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm a chef. I can do this." And I went out that Sunday thinking it would be a one-time thing. And here we are telling you about my nonprofit that started that day. To give you some of the numbers of what we accomplished in those early years, between January of 2015 and September of 2018, we served over 10,000 meals. We became a nonprofit in April 2017. We provided over 2 tons of clothing, shoes, and hats. We also distributed hundreds of blankets, pillows, toiletry bags, and pet supplies. In that process, I started to wonder as I seen the same people and seen the same faces, and I never lost touch with the fact that it's a basic human right. Everybody deserves food, no matter their situation, no matter how they got there. I began to think and imagine, what could I do to help these people get past this point, to be able to take their lives back. I began to create a class we call A New Beginning. It is a culinary job training mentorship program. I based A New Beginning off of my time in culinary school. The first 6 weeks of my program was called Basics, and I took those 6 weeks and boiled them down into 6 classes. We have a class every Thursday evening, 1 day a week. We provide for them culinary training to help them find work and take their lives back. We partnered with East Valley Institute of Technology to help write this program, also working with Local First Arizona that rented us kitchen space in downtown Mesa to be able to use the best equipment and the newest equipment to train our students, to give them as much real-world experience as possible. Through this program, we also were able to partner with local ministries that serve low-income and homeless persons. We've worked with Love Mesa Ministries, A New Leaf, Maximus, Pasa de Cristo, just to name a few. We're able to be connected to people living on the streets or struggling for food or to pay their bills, and be able to empower them and invest in them and work with them. This program takes them through a sanitation course, and then we pay for everything. It costs our students absolutely nothing. They take their food handler's test and we pay for it. We teach them how to use a knife and how to cut efficiently and properly and safely. From there, we move in how to make emulsifications and salads and move them down the line, how to saute, broil, deep fry, all the skills that they will need in a real culinary field. We also help them write a professional resume, and we do mock interviews with them to bring them into a place of comfort with themselves and their past. A beautiful thing about the culinary field is it's very felony friendly. A lot of people that we deal with have had a past, so we try to teach them to be honest, be upfront, but be positive about the future. Accept responsibility for what you've done, but talk about where you're going. Once they've completed the program, we also set up interviews for them with local restaurants and hotels and try to get them working in the industry. Once they do have work, we do whatever we need or whatever they need to keep them getting to work, whether it be kitchen shoes, uniforms, bus passes, however we can support them to get back and forth to work. So all they have to do is focus on working and getting their life together and the next step for them. If they stay in full-time work in the industry, we will buy them their first set of chef knives. We've had 13 students over the past year. We began on April 4th of 2019, and our fourth class graduated March 10th of 2020. Of those 13 graduates, we have 8 working in the industry now. We also started phase 2 of this program. We call it Hope Cafe, or Helping Others Prosper Endlessly. It is a for-profit catering company where we hire our students. It is a student-run company, and they prepare the meals. They help in every aspect of putting on a catering event. It gives them real-world experience. It helps build their confidence. I get to work with them in a little bit more open and liberal setting. It's not as based on a culinary book as the class is, and they also get to earn some money along the way. We encourage all of our students to give back that way. To us, it helps support us, it helps bring income in, and it helps support them as well. In February, when the coronavirus outbreak happened, that obviously changed everything for a time. The kitchen was shut down, and we had to stop the program for obvious reasons. As the whole world did, we took pause and reevaluated our purpose and our plan and where we're headed. Through that, we had the realization that the world is still hurting and it still needs outreach. So we went back to our roots. We began distributing food boxes to local families that could not leave their home or were worried about financially being able to afford food. And we were able to distribute food to over 375 persons in the past 2 months. We also began outreach and partnered with Genesis Project. They're an amazing organization in Apache Junction that serves over 80,000 meals a year to the homeless. We're beginning to do outreach there every other Sunday, and we're also bringing A New Beginning home to this organization. It's a perfect fit between the two of us. They feed the homeless, we feed the homeless. They have job training, we have this job training course. We also are able to partner with people in Pinal County and with the county offices for Arizona Works that helps place people in jobs and helps guides us to more students outside of just Genesis, keeping with our charter of serving the homeless and the low income and food insecure. A little bit on the county of Pinal. There are over 40 million people who live with food insecurity in America, but in Pinal County, 13.3% of its residents deal with this, of which over 20,000 are children. 1 in 5 adults and 1 in 4 children suffer from food insecurity. In 2019, 20% of Pinal County was considered to live at or below the poverty level. The average annual income is under $40,000 a year. On any given night, there's over 2,000 people experiencing homelessness. In Arizona alone, 13 in every 10,000 people experience homelessness. Of those, 37% are families. We want to combat this. These numbers are insane in the modern world, that people still live like this and they're not sure where their next meal may come is amazing to me. I can't help but be drawn and excited to be in this community, because it's not to look at it and say, what's wrong with it? Again, we're here to look at it, identify the need, and empower people, to educate them, to help them find work, to turn their lives around. I truly believe that it takes a community to change and all of us working together. But the first step is the people that need to change within need to be empowered. They need to know that they're cared for, that they're loved, that they're seen, and we appreciate them right where they are. And then we can guide them and teach them and educate them. Thank you so much for your time. We'd love to have you join us on this journey. If you feel led, please check us out on the web at othersideministries.org. We're also on social media at Facebook and Instagram. You can see more photos of past events, classes that we've taught, instructional videos, and also upcoming events. If you feel led, please bless us through time, talent, or treasures. We have our link to our PayPal on our webpage. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day. God bless.